Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Sorry about that. I'm Molly. If you're new here, I do book content here on YouTube. I do a mixture of Christian and non-Christian books. Most of them tend to be non-Christian, mainly because non-Christian is easier for me to get a hold of, certainly in terms of Christian fiction. Non-fiction, yeah, that's easy. Most of these books will be non-Christian that I have bought. In fact, I think they all are, apart from one non-fiction. Well, there's technically a series. I'll explain. So today I am coming at you with a long-awaited book haul. It's been a while. These have been accumulated since my last haul. I will try and remember to link that down below if you would like to see my previous one. Don't have to. It's just more books. What a surprise. But yeah. So yeah, these have been a mixture of whenever my last haul was, from different places. Some of them are second hand, some of them are brand new. And yeah, that's basically all I need to say for the intro. I don't necessarily know the names of the shops, so I won't be able to tell you. And also because I'm in the UK, depending on where you're living, you might not be able to buy from that particular shop. But most of these books you can probably get in a lot of your typical bookshops or Amazon. So yeah, I'm trying to decide what to start with. I might start with my shortest haul, well, shortest amount of books for one place, and I will probably start with the 2 books I bought at my church summer fair. We had that all the way back in either the end of May or the beginning of June. It was unusually early for us, because normally it's like middle to end of June. But it's fine. But I picked up 2, I think they're thrillers, and have I heard of any of these authors? I've not heard of either of these authors. I've never read the books either, but they were really cheap. I think they were like either 20p or 50p. So yeah, I'll just show you them. So the first book is The Party by Lisa Hall. This is a thriller, I think. Where there's a party, but then it's the next day, and this girl, or woman, should I say more likely, called Rachel, doesn't really remember the night before, and she wakes up in a strange room. It's not her party, it's her neighbour's party, apparently. So, yeah. Apparently everyone remembers what happens that night differently, and they all have something to hide. Who would have guessed that in a thriller? Yeah, it sounds interesting, so I thought I'd pick it up. Not read it yet, because who doesn't have a insanely large TBR as a whole? Not like smaller ones like for the month or something. Just general, I have books unread. So, yeah. The next book is If I Disappear. This is by Eliza Jane Brazier, or Brazier. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. But yeah, this sounded interesting as well. So there's actually a character in this who's also called Rachel, like in The Party. I don't think it's the same Rachel though. But this one, the main character loves true crime podcasts, and apparently she becomes obsessed with them. And then when her favourite podcast host, called Rachel, disappears, she goes to find her, basically. Oh, so apparently where Rachel, this podcast host, disappeared, she wasn't the first. Uh-oh. And she won't be the last. And Rachel did try to warn her. Oh. That actually sounds really good. I'm getting goosebumps. Again, not read that one. So those are the ones from my church summer fair. What else should I do? I'll do my library ones. So as far as I know, we don't have actual library book sales as like, like a once a month thing or once a year or whatever. There's just like a little box of like discarded library books. So when I went to the library the last time I picked books up, I had a look. They were all like 10p, so I was like, well, I'll have a look, see what's there. And I did find a couple of books that sounded interesting. So the first one is Blood and Beauty by Sarah Dunant, and this is about the Borgias. I think this is fiction, but it sounded interesting. I've not really read, I don't know much about the Borgias. Yeah, it is a fiction, and but it sounded interesting, and the cover looks cool. So yeah, I'll get to this at some point. It's quite a thick book. I don't know how. Oh yeah, over 500. So that'll go well for my yearly reading challenge that I'm doing. Not that I'm made it. I'm joining in with it. The Princess Bride by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails, because one of the prompts is to read a book over 500 pages. So that'd be a good contender. Okay, the last book that I picked up for 10p is, and I'm gonna butcher this because I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's called The Somnambulist. There you go, it's not very clear, there you go. And this is by S.E. Fox. The cover is what drew me in initially because it looks really interesting. I really like that dress. This I think is like a YA. I don't know about the others. The others are probably adults. Not sure about the Borgias. I assume that one is too. But this I think is probably more like YA because the main character is 17. He spots a stranger in the audience at a music hall and doesn't realise her life is about to change. Classic YA blurb. Mr. Samuels, I assume is the person she saw, offers her a job of companion to his reclusive wife at Dinwood Court, which is a grand country house that may well be haunted and which holds the darkest of secrets. Victorian England, if anyone's wondering. And it's apparently a spellbinding tale of lost love, grief, murder and madness in Victorian England. Yeah, and it sounds like that it becomes clear that she's not been chosen to work there by chance. Ooh. And that's the problem with reading blurbs. If it sounds good, it makes you want to buy it. At least they were only 10p, but it's more space I don't need. Wait, no, that's not what I mean. More space that I need, but don't have. There we go. We got there. Right, what should the next haul be? I have picked up quite a lot from charity shops over the month, so I might start with those. Oh, actually, first I will do the ones that I picked up at my local supermarket, Tesco. They have like and if any of you have seen my last hauls, you'll know I've talked about this before. They have like a couple of bookshelves full of books and it's donations. It doesn't say what the donations are for, but I don't mind. So I picked up a couple of books from there. And one of them is a non-fiction, so I guess I'll just start with that because that's the one in my hand. And this is God's Upgrade My Adventures. This is by John Leach. I've not heard of this guy. I don't know much about it, but it sounded interesting. It's more about his story, but sometimes you can still gain, useful information, learn new things, learn new ways of doing things, all of that stuff. So it might be good. It's quite short, so I'll get to this at some point. And also the writing's quite big too, look at that. So, and doesn't take up loads of space on the page, so it should be, depending on how I read it, it could be a quick read. But with non-fiction especially, and especially Christian non-fiction, I tend to take my time with it, depending on what it is. So it might still take a while, and also it might take a while just to get to this, never mind actually reading it. What a surprise. Oh well. The last one that I picked up at my Tesco is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I've been wanting to get to her works for ages, and I've just never gotten around to it. And when I saw this, I thought, why not? I don't know if it's one of her best ones, but I've heard of it. I know a lot of people talk about Beloved, don't they? And maybe another one. But this was the one that was there. There wasn't any other Toni Morrisons, so I picked this one up. It's also quite short as well, so it'll be interesting to get to her work. I've never read it, so yeah, I'll be interested to read that. I don't know much about it. Oh, it's a debut novel. Interesting. Set in the post-depression of the 1940s in Ohio. Unlovely and unloved, apparently. I'm sure that's not true. Well, maybe unloved, but unlovely, I'm sure that's not true. Pekala, if that's how you pronounce her name, I apologise if not, prays each night for blue eyes like those of her privileged white schoolfellows. Oh, that's sad. Oh, no. Oh, why am I tearing up at that? Oh, sorry. At once intimate and expansive, unsparing in its truth-telling, The Bluest Eye shows how the past savagely defines the present. Sounds about right. I've got a feeling, judging by I only read one line and I'm tearing up, I'm assuming I'm going to be crying a lot in this book. But we all need a good cry now and again, don't we? Cathartic. Okay, so the next ones are my charity shop or thrift shop books, secondhand. I guess I'll start with the nearest one. And that is, I picked up the whole series of Narnia. I have been looking for these for ages, and I've been seeing them all the time, but in varying conditions, and some of them are separate, so you're not paying for the whole set, you're having to pay each book. And then sometimes you see a whole set, but it's very white. So, is it whitewashed? When the sun has been on it for so long that it's gone pale and white. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. Let me know what the phrase is. Some bleached, some bleached. So obviously you can tell these aren't. And to be fair, I didn't look any further, because I don't mind if they're a little bit damaged. I don't mind if it's got a pen in it. Because you buy it second hand, I'm not expecting perfect. But I did have a look at one of the books, and they look really good. In good condition. The spines, not the spines, the paper looks pretty good. I mean, it's a little yellow there. Yeah, there you go, you can sort of see it. But I don't mind that. I've got books that look like that because I've had them for so long. So, yeah. It'll be cool to get to those at some point. This is probably the only Christian non-fiction I've got. I think. Yeah, it is. And this is why I was unsure, because it's not like, people say it's obviously Christian allegory, and I would say, as someone who didn't grow up Christian, I had no idea it was Christian allegory. I remember seeing the film, and now that I think back on it being a Christian now, oh yeah, it's obvious, but I don't think it's actually that obvious if you don't actually know. But yeah, Christian non-fiction. So I'm excited to get. I'm excited to get to that at some point. I know it's contested about what order to start with. Knowing me, I will probably start with whatever the numbers say. So, The Magician's Nephew. But I know some people say it's better to do one or two of the main series, like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and then The Magician's Nephew. But let me know, because I know a lot of you who watched me, have read Narnia. let me know. Is it a good idea to start with Magician's Nephew, or would you say for understanding what's going on, would it be better to start with a different book? Let me know, because I'm not sure. Because I am open to doing that. The autistic side of me isn't. Can't do it, but if you tell me it's better to do it that way, I will do it. So, keep that in mind. Okay, so I have a big pile of charity shop books. It's where I get most of my books, because I usually only get 1 or 2 each time, because obviously you don't know what's there, and sometimes the prices, I just don't buy them. So I have quite a few, well, for me, quite a few. Some of them you have already seen me talk about, because I've had them on my TBR, for either July or for this month of August, and I will tell you when I get to them, even though you probably won't need me to. But yes, let's get started with the charity shop books. So the first one in my hand is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the Nevermore book series, book 2. I picked this up, obviously, like I said, from a charity shop. I've been looking for this for ages, because I read the first one from my library. Gorgeous hardback, love it. I don't really like the English versions, but it's fine. I don't care. But I really enjoyed the first book, so I've been wanting to get to the second at some point. But whenever I would look in my library, they would never have it. And then I would always see the third one in charity shops, and I would never see the second one. So I finally found it. So when I did, I was like, well, I'll pick it up, because I think it was only £2. Which is funny, because sometimes I see books for £2 and I'm like, no. So I think it just depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, it says here £1.99, but I basically say £2. I mean, it's only a 1p difference. Does it work on you, the whole 99p difference or cents difference? Because it doesn't work on me. I see right through it. Right, the next one is a non-fiction, and that is Ancient Worlds, An Epic History of East and West by Michael Scott. This is also £2 or £1.99, and I think this is before I started BookTube, I read his, well, I don't know if he's done a new one since, but one of his most recent books, and I'll see if I can put a picture of it on the screen, and it was called X Marks the Spot, and it was about archaeology stuff, and it said if you're a fan of Indiana Jones, which I am, whoever wrote that said they recommend this book, and I was like, sold, buy it, I'm getting it. Didn't take much, and then X Marks the Spot made me laugh after I saw that, because then it made me think of the third one, which is The Last Crusade, where X never ever marks the spot. So yeah, that made me chuckle, and that was really good. I really enjoyed it. It had some pictures in it, which I always love in the non-fiction about history and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it, and it also talked about the complicated history of archaeology a little bit. Not fully, because that's kind of not really the main point, but he did talk about, you know, the injustices that usually the other countries faced when it was the usually English or American archaeologists are trying to get, you know, antiquities. So it was really interesting. I definitely recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. I don't think I talked about it on BookTube. I do think it was before I started. So yeah, but it was really good. Really recommend it. And so when I saw this, I knew who Michael Scott was, and I recognised his picture. That's him on the back. So yeah, I knew I had to pick this up. And this, as it says, goes through quite a lot of different countries. It talks about the Greco or Greco-Roman civilization, and as well as the rulers and empires that swept across Central Asia to India and China. So it'll be really interesting. Again, it'll have lots of different cultures. I do love my ancient worlds. I do love especially ancient Rome and ancient Egypt. But I also just enjoy any of that sort of stuff, no matter what countries it's from. I always find it interesting. So I thought I'd pick this up. And again, this has pictures, which I love. There you go, there's one of them. And so yeah, I'll get to this at some point. Oh, it's also got some maps, guys. There you go, maps. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this at some point as well. And now, I know I just said that I was excited about the Ancient Worlds book, but I had the most amazing book haul. It was only like 4 books, yeah, well technically 4, but it was mainly the 3 that I was mainly excited about. So I went into a charity shop, of course, because that's the pile of books that were on, and honestly, I don't know how it happened, because they just, well, I say just, I didn't see them do it, but I think that day they put out a few books by a certain author. And when I came to the till, the cashier said that they knew those books would be bought today, or that day when I bought them. And I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised either, because they are in such good condition. And they are by an incredible author. And one of the books is a book I have read and absolutely love. I'll show you, okay? Agatha Christie. And one of the books is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I love this book. If you want to get into Agatha Christie, this is a fantastic book to start with. Cheryl from Candlewick Library told me that, as well as some other books, and this was the first one that I picked up out of that selection of books. Incredible. I mean, it's cozy, it's not thrilling like you would read, like, say, the thrillers that I picked up from my church, but this is amazing. The twist in this, I did not see coming, made perfect sense. It's not like one of those twists you don't see coming and you're like, what? I mean, what's the point in that? Like, it wasn't anything like that. It was amazing. I still think about this book, and it was months ago when I read this book. I think it was still in the winter, going into spring sort of time. So it was quite a while ago. I still think about this book, and I love it. And this book is much better than the cover I got on my Kindle, which is how I read it initially. And I don't think I paid for it, or if I did, it was really cheap. I can't remember. But either way, I have my favourite book by Agatha Christie so far. So I'll show you the other 2 books by Agatha Christie. Another one is a very famous book that I've not read of hers yet, and that is Murder on the Orient Express. And look how gorgeous this cover is. And I love the fact that it's a ticket because it's set on the train. I just love it. It's gorgeous. Very 1920s, which of course isn't surprising. And all of these were £2 as well, these books. And then the last Agatha Christie book that I picked up was £4.50 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. I've heard of this, so I'm excited to try this one out as well at some point. And it's so cool I've got some physical Agatha Christie books. That's really cool. I mean, look at them, they're in such good condition. I mean, they are a little bit, like this one's got a little bit of a thing there, but I mean, look at that. I mean, they've been read because the spines in the middle has been broken a little bit. But I don't mind. I crack my spines for my paperbacks especially because I find it easier to hold with my tiny baby hands. But so I don't mind about that stuff. And when I'm buying second hand, I'm not too fussed about what it looks like. I mean, you know, if it's brand new, that's fantastic. But I don't expect that from charity shops. As long as it's in decent enough condition where I'm like, yeah, I can read that, I don't mind, then I don't bother. But these are just in fantastic condition. Absolutely fantastic. Not mint condition, but fantastic. I'm impressed. And then the last book that I did pick up from that day when I got Agatha Christie was Medusa by Jessie Burton. And again, the cover is gorgeous. And I think I've heard of this. I think I've heard about this retelling. Unless it's a different retelling, which is also very possible. But obviously this is about Medusa from Greek is it Greek? Is it Greek mythology? Yeah, Greek mythology. And this is kind of, this is like a new version about it, about her story, basically. And this is supposed to be good. It's very short as well, and there's not much writing. So it'll be a very quick read. I'm interested to try it. I do enjoy my retellings. Oh, right, yeah. See, this author also wrote The Miniaturist. I've never read it or seen the TV show. Although actually I feel like I might have done. I might have seen an episode or something. I don't think I ever finished it. Well, maybe I did. It was so long ago when that TV show came out. I don't actually remember. But love this. No, I don't. I've not read it. But great cover. Excited to try it is what I'm trying to say. So those are the ones from that same day. I have two more from another time that I went to charity shop. Did I buy these two together? I think I did, you know. So one of them is one that I have already shown you because it was on my July TBR, I think. Or was it my June? I don't know. I know I've had it on my TBR before. I've also got it on my August TBR for this month. And that is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This will be my next read. I'm buddy reading this with Lucy from the Lucy Chronicles at some point when she can get a copy for herself. So that'll be cool. I'll finally get round to this and I'll finally find out just how spicy it is. I hope not too spicy because I'd like to... I never like DNF in a book. It just feels wrong. I'm like, I want to complete it. But yeah. But if I have to, I will. So yeah, that'll be interesting to get to. And then my last charity shop book is another one that you will have seen from my TBRs from July last month. And that is Strange Pilgrims by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Britishness. But again, very famous author. I've not read any of his work. I've wanted to, especially, is it 1,000 Nights of Solitude or 100 Nights of Solitude? The Solitude one. That's very famous. I want to read that at some point. I think I might have heard of Strange Pilgrims. I'm not actually sure. But again, I've not read it. I know this is a collection of short stories on pilgrimages, basically. So yeah, that'll be interesting to get to at some point. But yeah, I got this at charity shop. Again, I think both of these were £2. The Laurie Gilmore one and Strange Pilgrims. So, I have one book that I bought full price. Well, technically, okay. So I bought this book and I could have added it to my couple of books that I got from my donation books from my local Tesco, but I forgot. But this I did buy full price, but it was also on offer. So I bought this, instead of buying this for £22, I bought it for 13. And the other thing is, it's a recent release. So, yeah, crazy. And again, you will have seen this in TBRs as well. This is Tyrant by Connie Goulden. This is book 2 in the Emperor Nero series that he's doing. I don't know if it's just a duology or if he's doing more books. But when I bought Nero at the time, I had no idea it was going to be a series. Makes sense now, because I thought it was kind of weird that it was called Nero and Nero himself was barely in it because it's mainly about his mum. But because it's a series, it's going through his life. So, you know, he'll be a little bit older or hopefully getting older in this book. Makes sense now, doesn't it? But yeah, I bought that anyway. I'm excited to get to this one too. I mean, obviously, all of these books I'm talking about, I'm excited to get to, because that's why I bought them. Because I'm like, oh, I want to read that. Who were the guests? No. Did you? Yeah, me too. Okay, so we've all heard of Temu. And I was like, I'm never going to use Temu. No. And then I saw offers for books. And I was like, oh, that's really cheap. And I was like, ooh, maybe I should have a look and see what else they have. Now, the books I saw really cheap, I didn't actually get. But I did get a decent amount of books. I got 2 different series. One of them is incomplete from what I've heard, apparently. The other one actually could be the same, I'm not sure. But as far as I know, it is kind of complete, but maybe not, I don't know. So I'll start with the ones nearest to me. They are all hardbacks. I did get them cheaper. I mean, still not cheap, but cheaper than if I bought them all at, I don't know, Waterstones or something. And they're all gorgeous covers. So that doesn't help. And the reason why I bought them in hardcovers is because the newest one is too recent for it to have a paperback. So, and me being me, I was like, well, if I'm going to get all of them, might as well get all of them and get them all in the same type of covers, so then I don't get sad. Which is a stupid way of looking at it, okay? I could have just bought the first 2, got them in paperback, and waited for the 3rd one. No, didn't want to do that, despite the fact that, depending on how long and I'll take to read them and when I'll even get to them, the paperback for the 3rd one might even be out. So, I just wanted the shiny book covers, okay? They're shiny. I couldn't not. And they are the very popular fantasy series, 4th Ring, by Rebecca Yarros. Very big books in page count. Although that is also partly because they're hardback, so they look a lot bigger as well. But I have been wanting to read this for a while because it sounds interesting. I love my fantasy. However, I didn't realise that whoever this Jennifer L. Armentrout, or Armentrout, or however you pronounce her name, on the cover up here, says sizzling sexual tension. So, haha, great. Didn't know that, so it sounds like I might have to skip things, but it's fine. But I bought the first one. Bought the second one, Iron Flame, which, by the way, is even thicker. What? And then, of course, because I said the 3rd one doesn't have a paperback yet, Onyx Store. I mean, when you see these covers, how can you not? They don't have sprayed edges, but I don't mind that too much. Because it's mainly about the front covers that I cared more about. Although I do love a good, pretty spine. Not spine. Although I like those too. Page things. So that is the first series I got. And then the second one you will have seen me talk about because I have been going through them. So, can you guess? Because I've been talking about them. I've been going through them. Can you guess what series I bought as well? The Hunger Games. Yeah. So again, I got all these in the hardbacks. You know why? Because of the new one. Sunrise of the Reaping. Yeah. But the problem is, the Sunrise is bigger than the other books. So I can't win. Same type of covers, different heights. But we live. So as you know, I have been, if you've been watching my videos, if not, you can always look at my wrap-ups and TBRs because they have been coming up for the past 4 months now, including this month. So I have been rereading the original trilogy. Just read Mockingjay last month in July, and I'm currently this month hopefully going to get to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And did I put it back in that box to show you, to make it look better, even though it was not in the box and in my pile of TBR for this month? Yes, I did. But I don't mind. It's fine. So yeah, I've got those, and hopefully in September I'll be reading this. But then again, Ballad is ginormous in page count, so maybe not. We'll have to see. But I'm going through them reasonably quickly for me. I never normally do this with a series where I read them, well, not quite consecutively, but in each month I'm going through another book. I don't normally do that, which is quite impressive. That is those. That is those. So yeah, those are my Temu books. They're the only Temu books I got. They all seem to be in good condition. Again, the Hunger Games ones I got cheaper because I got them all together, and Temu had them cheaper anyway. So yes, that is the Hunger Games. I'm going to try not to buy stuff at Temu. So we'll see how long that lasts. But to be fair, I'm also buying books at other places, so does it really make a difference? Probably not. But there we go. Right. So, the next load of books I'm going to talk about are from Waterstones. And I also bought a new bag to go with them. And if you saw my Instagram, you'll have seen the bag already. But I bought a tote bag, and it has a book on it with the Waterstones logo on the spine. And it says, I'm a booktrovert. It's one of the cheaper ones. I saw it, I was like, I need to get that. Because am I a booktrovert? Yes. Yes, I am. So, funnily enough, there's some books in there that I bought as well. Is anyone surprised? No. After all, this is a book haul. I think we would all be concerned if I did a haul that did not have books and called it a book haul. So, let's go through these books, because I went a little mad. Should I tell you how many books I bought? Okay. I'm going to scare us all and worry us all with how many books I bought. Now, to be fair, one of them I didn't really want to buy. Well, I did, but I decided not to buy it. But I couldn't find where I got it from. Bit random, and so I decided I had to buy it, which is a good excuse. Yes. So right, I bought 9 books. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of books. My brain's now going, why didn't you buy 10? It's a round number. Shh. Too late now, anyway. Okay, so I'm going to start with the one that's in my hand. And that is Bunny by Mona Award. Sorry, Mona, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. This is a women's literary fiction. I think it's a little bit thrillery as well. And it's, yeah, oh, here we go. It's a blend of sharp satire with fairy tale horror. Yeah, so this is, alright, yeah, it's part thriller, part horror, part teen drama. Apparently the Sunday Independent, which is a newspaper, said it's like Mean Girls with added menace. So, yeah. Yeah, this is more of a influence from mostly Katie Coulson, who is the host of the Sunrise on the Readathon. Readathon, obviously, is in the name, and that I joined in with last month in July, so I blame her. And we're going to be buddy reading this, not me and her personally, but she's doing a buddy read with a lot of people, and I'm joining in with that. Because it sounds interesting, it sounds like it'll be a good commentary on teenage life, maybe. Yeah. Also, it's a cool cover. Very bright. Okay. The next book I got was technically a recommendation, but M from M's Books Are Everywhere talked about this book, and it made me think of Doctor Who, the one with Matt Smith, when there's a crack in the wall and in the universe. So when she talked about what this book was about, I was like, well, now I need to get this. So this is The Whisperwicks by Jordan Lees, and this is called The Labyrinth of Lost and Found. I don't think it's a continuation in a series. I also don't know if it's the start of a series, so we'll have to find that out. But it sounded really good because apparently it began with a crack in the wall. It just sounds really good. This is like a middle grade children's 11 plus sort of book. This is about a young boy called Benjamin Creek, who's 11, who is very logical. You know, he believes in science, logic, the power of reason. He doesn't believe in magic. But then he receives a doll in the post randomly because it says a mysterious gift, and it can transform into a bird. And Benjamin is led into the impossible and definitely magical world of Riefenwald, if I'm saying that right, where dark secrets are lost amongst a vast labyrinth of streets. Looks good. I like the cover. Very cool. I like the back of the cover as well. Look at that. Look, it's got little butterflies and flowers. Yeah, it's giving me Alice in Wonderland vibes, the back of it. Because of there's like playing cards there as well. And you got mushrooms. Anyway, it sounded interesting, so yeah. And the next one is one I've had on my TBR and to buy list for quite a long time. This was talked about by Desi from Darling Desi, another booktuber. And this is Fable by Adrienne Young. I think this again is kind of piratey. Also the cover is quite cool. Again, I think this is YA because the main character is called Fable. Is 17. She's the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, which is the sea. And it's apparently the sea that Fable, the only one that Fable has ever known. I think she has to go find him, I think. Right, yes, she wants to go and find her father. So yeah, it sounds interesting. I do quite like my piratey sailing things. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good. This next book is a book I've been wanting to buy as well. This is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I've been wanting to try this series for a long time. The cover is cool. I think this is fairy stuff. YA fairy stuff. Yeah. So the main character, Jude, and her sisters see their parents murdered in front of them and then get abducted by the assassin to go to the world of fairy. And, oh yes, okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, they basically get bullied because they're not fairy, they're human. And to survive, Jude, who's the main character, needs to be cunning and deceitful like the Fae. And then, obviously, there's a prince. So, yes, I'm sure there will be some romance in that one. So, yeah, it sounds good, hopefully. We'll have to see. This is the book that I liked, but then decided not to get. But then decided to just get it anyway. And this is called Passenger. This is by Alexandra Bracken. And this is the author who wrote Lore, Lore, if any of you have read that. This is a historical fiction. I'm hoping that it's not the second one, because there's also one called Wayfarer with a very similar cover on the back. And then obviously, so hopefully it's not a sequel, but this takes place in present day, or at least present day from when this was written. I don't know how recent it is. Yeah, this was in 2016, this was published. So yeah, New York City 2016, then the Atlantic Ocean in 1776. It looks like it's time travel stuff, love from over the centuries, and it's fantasy as well as historical. So it sounds good. It's giving me a bit of, Greek mythology or Roman mythology vibes with the cover. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good. Ah, yes. Okay. So this book I've heard of by Alma from Alma's Book Journey. She did some books. What was it for? I think it was for... Was it for her Journey Through Time readathon, or no? The Read Historical Fiction readathon that happened a couple of months ago, I think, in June or something, or May. One of those months. There was a historical fiction anyway. And this was one of the books that Alma was thinking of for her to read for it, because of one of the prompts was to read a book from a different timeline, if you know what I mean, like a famous historical thing that happened, but something's different about it, or like it's from a different point of view, maybe. I can't remember what the prompt is now, and I'm not going to go look, but if you were involved, you'll probably know which one I'm trying to say, especially when I say what the book is. And when she talked about this book, I was really interested. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll read that. But I didn't do that in the end, because there were some cheaper books on my Kindle that I wanted to read and try instead. Regret it. So hopefully, maybe this one would have been better. I don't know. But it sounded really interesting. And this is Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Gordon? Oh, got quite a lot of names that aren't easy to pronounce here, aren't we? I haven't read from this author. I don't know if this is from a series or is the start of a series, because I saw other books that look like they're kind of similar looking in terms of the book covers. So I don't know if this is a series or if it's like an interconnected series or something. I'm not sure. But Wolf by Wolf is a reimagining of World War II. So this is set in Germany in 1956, so 10 years after the war. But this is if the Nazis won World War II instead of those of us who were against us, Britain, America, all the rest of it. And I think this is YA as well, because 17-year-old, and there's another name I can't pronounce, Yael? I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Yael. But she's part of the resistance, and she has just one mission: to kill Hitler. But first, she's got to get close enough to him to do it. So it sounds really interesting. And so when I saw this in Waterstones, I was like, well, I need to buy this. So I bought this. I just realised I've not really gone through the prices, but you can imagine the sort of prices that you're paying in the typical bookshop. So yeah, just imagine it. So the next one is definitely the start of a series, and it's another one that I have been wanting to read as well because it sounds good. And that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is very popular, or was very popular, and it does sound interesting because the main character, Avery, gets invited to whatever you call it when they've had a will, basically, and she gets to have his fortune even though she doesn't know who this guy is. She has to kind of, crack codes, probably lie to people as well, at least at first, to win the money, because you have to play the game to get it, from the looks of it. And the way I'm saying it doesn't sound very good, but it's so popular, I'm sure all of you have at least heard of it. So if you want to know what it sounds like, you can look it up yourselves. So the next one is also another series. I didn't know at the time, or maybe I might have heard of it. I'm not sure. It does ring a bell. I've heard of this. But it was also a little bit of a cover by, because it's gorgeous. And that is Twin Crowns. And this is by two authors, Catherine Doyle and Catherine with a K, Weber, to Catherine, so like that. I think I've heard of both of those authors. I don't know what they've wrote though. But it sounds interesting. This is about a pair of twins separated at birth. One is the heir to the throne of Eana, E-A-N-A, and she was trained to fear the witches that killed her parents. Her sister, however, was stolen by those witches, and she's called Wren, W-R-E-N, and she's a secret sister that no one actually knows about, and she plots to usurp the princess in order to protect the witches who raised her. So it sounded really interesting. Again, gorgeous cover, which didn't help my bank account, but it's also actually signed as well, which isn't why I bought it, but that's also just a cool edition. So yeah, I'm excited to try that. And then my last book is a gorgeous cover. Gorgeous wherever these bits are. Spines. End pages, I don't know. And this is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. This is a exclusive Waterstones edition. And look at that book cover, by the way. Look at it. And then we've got black end pages with, ta-da! Look at that. Look at that. And then I think it's black again, yeah. Plain black on the bottom. So I had to buy that partly because of the cover, partly because the end pages are stunning. They look like a notebook. Look at that, it's very cool, that. And then also the hardback cover is very nice. Look at that. It's also textured as well, kind of. I don't know what you would call it. It's just, this is also on the back, so I won't show it you because it's just repeated. And then it's just your basic spine there. So again, gorgeous hardback. And this is probably what you would call dark academia sort of book. It sounded really interesting. It's given me Hunger Games vibes. So on the back, the little, not really the blurb, but it says 6 rivals, 1 victor. Eternity is only beginning. And this is about the students at Blackwood Academy, which is a school located at the edge of the afterlife. And by doing these games, and if they win, they are granted a choice to graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious unknown other side. And then obviously this is YA, so you've got several people who are probably in love as well. And I'm sure the main character, whoever that is, will be in love. I don't know if it's multiple POVs. I think it might be because I'm seeing people's names at the top of chapters. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. I'm excited to try it. And honestly, these end pages here are just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm breaking my new books already. So yeah, that's all of my Waterstones books. There you go, you can see that a bit better now. Look at that, I am a book travert. I mean, it's so true. I'm going to start using this now it's empty. Yeah. Anyway, so those are all my books from Waterstones. Now, I have one last bag of books. This is from yesterday. So yesterday I went out for the day to a place called Lytham. Lovely little quaint place, usually filled with people of an older generation, but it's a lovely area. It's quite a posh-ish area because there's lots of lovely houses. It's kept really nicely as well, which is lovely to see because we don't get that here where I live. So you can tell it's a richer area. But we go once or twice a year to visit for the day and, have a look at all the charity shops usually. But there is also a bookshop a small one and it's independent. So that was my excuse for buying more books. Did I need more books? No. Should I have bought more books? Probably not. But my thought was, well, I'm supporting an independent shop, you know, so you've got to keep it in business and all the rest of it. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. So so yeah, I may have spent quite a bit of money, but again, I couldn't help it. I wanted to support them. So yeah, I bought quite a few books. I bought about 5, I think. Yeah, 5 books, so I spent quite a bit of money. So most of these I've not heard of. One of them is actually, I think, kind of a sequel of a book that I do actually have. And then the other ones one of them I've heard of and wanted to read. So I think that's going to be last though, because I'm just going to start from the nearest. So yeah, let's get started with my last load of books. So my first book that I picked up is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. Again, this is a cover by, because look at that. How gorgeous is that? There's no spine on it. I haven't seen the back cover. And the back cover is quite nice. It's got a little quote. I love you and I have loved you. And I will love you until we meet again. Oh, very romantic. So this is very much kind of like a fated love sort of thing. So the main character Evelyn has lived countless lives, and in every single one she's been killed before her 18th birthday. In her present life she needs to stay alive for her sister, so she has 2 goals. 1, find a centuries-old enemy who hunts her through each life, because I assume that's how she dies. And then 2, figure out why she's being hunted so she can break the curse once and for all. And most importantly, because this is a YA, from what I've gathered by the fact that she's supposed to be about 17, she's going to have to try not to fall in love with them again. So it looks like they're infinitely supposed to love each other and kill each other. Yeah, it even says it on the cover here. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. So there we go. So yeah. And it's funny because it has quite a common sort of fated love theme that I've seen a lot in fan fictions, where it says the ribbon binding their wrists together was red as a wound. And I remember seeing things like that as a kid when I was reading my fan fictions on Wattpad and all the rest of it. So yeah, it was definitely a cover by, and honestly a title by, because that title sounded interesting. I have heard of this. I don't know much about it other than what I've just told you. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good. It's very pretty though. I do really like that. Okay, so the next one is, I think, a sequel, because it says that it's a continuation from the first book. And I'll tell you what the first book is. So this is A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reed. Again, this was a cover by, because look at that. Gorgeous. And again, this is a signed copy. Again, not why I bought it, but this is why I bought it. Return to the dreamlike world of the instantly best-selling dark academia fantasy A Study in Drowning, as the aftermath of their first discovery pulls Effie and Preston on a final adventure. And that's all I needed. Have I read A Study in Drowning? No. Do I have it? Yes. You've seen it. I pulled it. But I won't get it because I actually don't know if that means there's been more than just this one as a sequel, whether there's like a second or third one or something. Because also I don't actually know when the first one came out. I know it's been quite a while. I'll have a look actually, because it's right here. I was going to say you can see my pile of books there, but no, you can't actually, you're too high up. So I bought A Study in Drowning a while ago. I think I got this one from Waterstones. I do not like the fact that one's a hardback, one's a paperback, but that's what you get for buying a new one, the newest of it. Like one that's recently come out is what I mean. So let's have a look when this one came out, because I'm not actually sure. Well, that's all people saying they like it. I don't want that. Here we go. Okay. Oh, okay, right. So this was published in 2023. That's actually more recent than I thought. So it's a couple of years old, so it's very possible there could be another book in between A Study in Drowning and A Theory in Dreaming. If any of you have read any, well, maybe not this one because it's quite new, but if any of you have read this one and you know if there's a book in between this one and then this one, let me know. If you don't know, that's fine, because I didn't check. So yeah, let me just put this back. So yeah, I bought that. I haven't checked if the underneath is anything much. Let's have a look. No, it's nothing much. It's just plain blue. It's a lovely blue though. I like it, and then that's the spine. So nothing exciting, but it's quite nice. I quite like it, mainly because of the shade of blue. So yeah, I don't really know what this is about, but I kind of don't want to in case it spoils the first book because I've not read it. But it does come, well, it doesn't come because it's not to do with the book, but the cashier did give me a free bookmark. So there you go. This is the penguin one, and it's the same on the other side but in white. So that's cool, got an extra bookmark. So the next book, and actually my last hardback, is a children's middle grade-ish book called Alice with a Y, and spelled with the question why, Return to Wonderland. And again, look at that cover. That is a cool cover. So this is basically kind of a retelling / sequel to basically what happens next, I guess. So this is set in England in 1919, and Alice with a Y, and that is spelt with a Y, so ALYCE instead of I, lives with her grandmother, who is the original Alice, so spelt with an I. And this is set during World War II, or just after World War One, just after World War One. And yeah, she basically goes back to Wonderland, and funnily enough, because there's been a war in the world, there's a war going on in Wonderland. So yeah, she probably has to try and fix that and find her way back home. It sounded interesting. I love the Alice in Wonderland film, and most of the adaptations of it that I've seen. The book is good, but I prefer the film. Probably because there's music in it. But yeah, I'm excited to try sequels / retellings. The back of it isn't anything much to hardback, although the spine's quite nice, the way it says Alice. But yeah, that should be good. Did I say who the author is? This is by Anna James, and her name rings a bell. I think she writes the Pages and Co series for that children's, like the Tilly and the Book Wanderers one. I could be wrong. Yes, she did. Yeah, I thought so. Oh, it tells me what the other books in that series are too. That's good. I did see some of the Pages and Co, a couple of the Pages and Co books as well, but I didn't know what the sequel was, so I didn't buy them in case they weren't book 2. So yeah, that's my last hardback. The other 2 are paperbacks, and this one was a cover by. So, and I've not heard of this author or this book. And this is Compass and Blade by Rachel Greenlaw. And look at that. I mean, how cool is that? And it's another sailing and ship things. Is there pirates too? Maybe. I'm not sure. But again, this is a romantasy YA book. Obviously, from the sounds of the blurb, it looks like there's going to be a love triangle, so if you're not into that, you might not want to read this, I don't know. But Myra or Mira, it's M-I-R-A, I never know how you pronounce that name, is a wrecker. She plunders wrecked ships beyond the Isle of Rosevere, which will be where she lives, I assume. And typical, YA sort of thing. The waves sing to her soul, the call of the sea beckoning her. I can relate to that though, to be fair. Always feels that way for me. Maybe not quite to that extent though, to be fair, but yeah. But yeah, she basically goes on a journey to win back her father's freedom. So yeah, she goes on an adventure. She discovers a secret buried deep in the ocean, but because of that, she finds that securing her future will come at a high price. It sounded good too. I did read the blurb, so I thought I'd pick that up. And then my last book that I bought yesterday for me is the reappearance of Rachel Price. This is by Holly Jackson, who did the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Not read that series, but I've heard of it. But I've also heard of this book, and it sounded really good because the main character, Belle, who's 18, has lived her whole life in the shadow of her mum's disappearance. And basically her mum is presumed dead. But there's now a true crime documentary going on for her disappearance. And interestingly, her mum turns up again. And life will never be normal again. And this sounds really interesting. Because I'm like, that's a bit suspicious, isn't it? Your mum just turning up as you started doing a documentary. So it sounded good. I thought I'd pick it up. I've heard of it before now, obviously. So yes, I'm pretty sure that's all of my books that I have bought in the past few months. There may be one book, another charity shop one, but that I picked up, but I can't remember which one it is and whether I did haul it or not. And that is a book by Georgette Heyer, but I can't remember if I've hauled it, so I've not bothered, because I also don't know what the title is that I did or didn't haul, so I'm leaving that. So there might be one book that I've missed, but that's fine. So yeah, that is all of my books that I have bought in the last few months, 4 months or something, however long it's been since I last did one. It feels that long, so I hope so. Imagine if it's only been like 2 or 1, I'll be like, oh, whoops. Anyway, so yeah, those are all my books. Let me know, is there any books that you are interested in that I've talked about, any books you've read? Let me know if there's any books you think I should read or get to quite soon. Any books you think I shouldn't read. I mean, knowing me, I would probably still want to at least try it and make my own opinion. But I'm always interested to hear what, the rest of you think. So, yeah. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week. I'm actually filming this early, so I won't be uploading this until not this weekend coming, but the weekend after. So I'm filming this on the 7th of August. So I'll be doing this, which is a Thursday. So the Saturday of the 7th of August, because I don't know what the date is. I won't be uploading this video that Saturday. It'll be the Saturday after. So you'll be seeing this in a couple of weeks, technically. Near enough. So yes, I hope you all have a great rest of your week and weekend. I hope that your August is going well so far. And yes, God bless, and I will see you all next time. Bye. Hello. So I kind of bought more books. This is becoming a habit with my book hauls, apparently. I seem to end up going back to other places to buy more books and then adding them on after I've already filmed my book haul. But I've not uploaded yet, but this is where I went. If you saw my last book haul where I talked about the Pilgrim's Progress, this is the same bookstore or bookshop that I went to when I bought that. Well, I bought 4 books, and then I bought 1 in the charity shop. We went out for the day. I also bought some sweets too. You can see those. They're not from the same shop. Where we went is called Waterstones. This is like in the Peak District sort of area, and they have an old sweet shop. So it sells like, you know, so they sell sweets in jars and stuff like that, along with some American sweets. So I'll just quickly show you what I picked up. So I picked up 1 Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. This is the chocolate lava one, sounded interesting. There's also a PB&J one for my Americans, and I was tempted to try that. But I was a bit like, not so far like that. Then I saw this, which is a Reese's Peanut Butter Bar with white chocolate. I thought I'd give that a try. And then I picked up some zero sugar candy, which is aniseed balls. I love aniseed balls, so when I saw the sugar-free version, I thought, let's try those. I don't know what they'll be like, but there we go. So those are a bit of an extra. So I went out to Buxton and then went elsewhere, so which is this bookstore shop that I was talking to you about. So I'm going to start with the one I got at Buxton, because that is second hand from a charity shop. And so I will talk about this one first. And that is the second Harry Potter book, The Chamber of Secrets. I got this for £1, and it's in the original covers. It's not a first edition, I doubt it. But it is in the original style that I grew up with, so love that. It's also the next one I need to get to, so I thought I'd pick that up when I saw it, because it's in pretty decent condition. It's an old library book, so there is a little bit of the plastic coming off for the covering, but I don't mind. It doesn't affect the reading. So that's that. Let's get into the books I got at the bookstore. So the bookshop is called High Peak Bookstore and Cafe, and they sell, if you aren't aware, they do sell new books, but at quite a heavily discounted price, usually. Depending on what you're getting, you're probably not getting a discount, or at least it'll still be expensive, but there we go. So I only bought 4 books, and in the total spent £20, which, if you go to a place like Waterstones, you can buy 4 books and spend £50, so a £30 difference is pretty good. So I'll start with 2. 2 of them are children's, and the other 2 are like YA/adult. I'm not sure which, but we'll show them. So the first 2 are a series, I think, or duology, I'm not sure which. And I think this one is the first one, and that is The House at the Edge of Magic by Amy Sparks. The blurb sounded interesting, and I really liked the cover. Don't know what it'll be like, but it sounds good, so I thought I'd try it. And then I got the second book, and this is The Tower at the End of Time by, obviously, Amy Sparks. And I assume this is the second book and not like the third. It's only showing The House at the Edge of Magic at the bottom there, so I'm assuming it's the sequel. And both of these were £2.99, which, so basically it's £3 for like brand new books. So I thought, why not? Hopefully I'll like them. But if not, I got them so cheap, I'm not too fussed. Okay, my last 2 books are both hardbacks. And we all know hardbacks usually pretty expensive. You're usually paying, well, anywhere from about £15-16 to like 20 odd quid. Depending on what you're getting, it could be more. So these, incredible. This particular one I'm going to show you is £5.99, so £6, and that is Off with the Hedge by Zoe Hannah Mikuta. not quite sure how to pronounce her name, but she's a Korean author, I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it's a Korean-inspired reimagining of Alice in Wonderland, I'm sure you can tell with the title. Looks really interesting. It's a cool cover. I didn't check what the hardback is like underneath. Have a look. But it's not really exciting, just a plain blue. And then there's the spine. It sounded interesting. It's inspired by Alice in Wonderland. It sounded interesting, so I thought I'd give it a try. Hadn't heard of it. And then this one I have heard of, and that is Never by Jessa Hastings. And this was £6.99, so £7. So I mean, when you're spending like £7 on a hardback, I mean, it's worth trying. This is another retelling or reimagining of, but this is of Peter Pan. But this is, right, yeah, so this is about the great-granddaughter of Wendy, the original, Wendy. So, yeah, it should be good, because if any of you recognise the name, Jessa Hastings has done the really famous Mango Parks, what's it called? Oh, Magnolia Parks. And I'm not interested in that, but this sounds interesting, because also I think it's set on Prince Edward Island, but I could be wrong. Actually, it doesn't say, but I think it's either set, at least partly, in Prince Edward Island, or it's inspired by Prince Edward Island. I'm not quite sure. Or is it by Anne, from Anne Shirley? I can't remember, but I remember Darling Desi talking about this, and talking about Prince Edward Island and stuff like that. Unless I'm getting it confused with something else, but I recognise the cover, so I don't think so. Unless, of course, that she's mistaken, which is possible, but I don't think so. But it sounds interesting, yeah. And apparently it's not just Peter Pan, but also we see Captain Hook's son, apparently. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I mean, it's still boring in terms of picture. There's no picture, but it's white. And then that's the spine. So nothing particularly exciting, however. I have seen the end pages, at least for the front. I don't know about the back, but we can have a look. So this is the front. So there you go. You've got your classic Neverland map on the front. I don't know what the back has. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. It looks to be the same, I think. There we go. But yeah, it sounded interesting, and I really like the cover as well. It's very pretty. So yeah, we'll see what it's like. So yeah, those are all the books that I have to add. I do technically have one more, but it's not for me, but I'll show it. Just for all of you who are interested. But from my friend Emma, my real life friend, she is currently going through the Harry Potter books again. But the third one, she's going through them through her library. The third one isn't available yet, but she's going through them quite fast, because obviously at least the first two are very short. So she asked me if she could borrow The Prisoner of Azkaban. So here it is. This is obviously not the original covers. This is like one of the next ones, but actually, I know I complain about the new ones that I don't like them, but actually this one's quite cool. I really like that one. So yeah, I don't tell her, but I don't actually have a copy of the third one. So I picked one up cheap on Amazon for like £3-something. So, which is a big difference to the full price of £8, or £7.99 if you want to get technical. But obviously, as you can tell by the spine, it's been read, but it doesn't matter, because also she thinks she's borrowing mine, so yeah. but I don't think she watches my videos, so we are safe. So yeah, that's it. It's incredibly hot today, and at least for us in the UK anyway. Obviously all of you who live in hot countries and stuff like that will probably disagree. Also, I do have the sun coming in for the sunset. I always get the evening sun, so obviously that'll be more intense at this time of the night, because it's like after 6. So yes, that should be me done for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.